Welcome to this week's Rays of Hope. We are glad, as usual, that you are with us today and that you're tuned in to learn, because here we inspire courage, resilience, and most importantly, hope. Because we need hope in life and above everything else. And so we're very happy that you have joined us. Please remember that our social media platforms are open for you to comment, to tell us even the kinds of topics you don't want to see on the show and such. Just feedback. We appreciate feedback a lot. Thank you so much for joining. I am Lucy Waweru, your host. And today we continue with a topic that we had started earlier on salvaging the future of our children. Salvaging the future of our children. And we learned that salvaging has to do with rescuing, grabbing the hand of, saving, and actually bringing back to a good shape something that was distorted, something that was going to be useless. And that's the kind of a thing we're saying, that our children are troubled. They are surrounded by very challenging situations. And in this kind of a context, they need help. They need somebody to listen to them. They need a hand to hold them. They also need a shoulder to lean on. And we've learned, and we shall continue to learn. So relax, because with me is Madam Virginia W. Mureithi, who again has joined us to continue on this topic. Thank you very much for coming on board again. It's a joy and it's an honor. Please say hi to the viewer.
Hello viewers, I'm grateful to be here today.
Wonderful. As I introduced her in our past episode, she has been a lecturer at Laikipia University, and currently she's on study leave. That's Madam Mureithi, and she is taking her PhD at the University of Nairobi. She's an author. She's very passionate about children and youth, and actually her latest book is about salvaging the future of our children. She talks about the challenges, causes, and measures, and this forms the basis of our discussion today. So, Madam Mureithi, first, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
And again, we want to take it up from where we stopped.
Okay.
Because at the point where we stopped last time, the last time we started this talk, you were talking about self-limiting beliefs, because we were listening to your story.
Yes.
And the stories you've gathered along the way.
Yes.
Self-limiting beliefs that you had started to develop.
Yeah.
Following some vacuum, some hollow, because you were away from your mother.
Yes.
Your dad had passed on. So this kind of emptiness. And although you told us that life was good on the outside.
Yes.
Good education, a good family.
Yes.
Loving relations, other relations.
Yes.
But still you were broken inside. And we said that we should not be deceived by the looks.
True.
Because children and young people are dying inside. They're sinking. They have hollows. And they're developing those self-limiting beliefs. And that's why they need to be salvaged. So we take up the story from there.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, now that situation that I lived in, of lack of a parent, not lack of love, I was taken care of very well, but that lack of a parent love made me feel all the time, my stomach was actually, feeling horror. Actually, when you are emotionally deprived, it lacks its fate itself in the stomach.
For some strange reason.
If you're surprised, or if you're happy, or if you're, some emotional things, somehow they come in, or if you're anxious, you feel it in your stomach, yeah? And so I kept on feeling that feeling. I'm not settled, and I'm okay, everything looked very okay, but inside me there's something that is lacking. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm trying to find out actually what am I lacking. I have a good education, but I don't feel happiness because of that. I have a good place where I'm staying. We are comfortable.
And you're in Nairobi.
And I'm in Nairobi. In a very good place.
Yeah.
But I'm not. There's something missing. I feel I'm very anxious in me. Yeah? And I have seen that really happening with our children, because relating with my story, I have talked a lot with children. That made me start, because along the way, I took a long time. It took a long time to actually understand myself. I lived, I grew, I finished university, but I still took a long time to understand, because I kept on shying away from anything, especially anything that will bring me out into the limelight, anything that people will be watching me or looking upon me, you know, I really shy away because I'm not strong inside me. Yet, according to people out there, I look, I'm capable. I have the education required for that. I look okay, but inside me I was not that strong to undertake that kind of activities, and so I kept on shying away from anything, even from leadership position, despite qualifying for them, because of that emptiness inside me. I was not feeling strong inside me. And I actually, when I was talking with children and even student, I was even a student even in the university. As I was going along with my occupation, I realized that our children actually feel the same feelings. A lot of them, the same feeling I felt. Them are different. They are living with their parents in the same roof, in the same house. And like me, my parent was far in the rural area. I was the one who was away from them. But these children feel a similar feeling, like the one I felt, despite living with the parents with them.
So what you're saying is that distance is distance. It could be physical distance,
yes,
because your mom was many miles away.
Yes.
Or it could be social or psychological distance. You're in the same house.
Yes.
But you're far.
You are far. And that is what's happening. Now that's the scenario.
That's where we are now.
That's where we are today. And creating a lot of issues now with our children. Because here we are. We actually want, somebody would wonder, what are you saying? I'm with my children, I come back in the evening, I live with them. Fine. But how much time do you give to that child?
The quality
time. Yes. For how long have you been with the child over that week? Or do you know what has been happening with the child? Do you listen? Just listen to that child and understand what is happening. Do you just, cry, just give a crying shoulder? Let that child vent the frustrations that they have been going through. Because time actually is what has been lacking, and that's what has been the cause. Big cause of these issues of our children. We have provided everything. I had what somebody would wish for. Yes, I had what somebody would wish for. That is in material form and in intellectual form. But when it comes to the emotional, which mainly the parents have a very big percent, actually is the best person to offer. You can still get it out there, but it will not be as beautiful as your parent, your own parent, your own blood, the person who brought you to this world. It's very sweet when it comes out from that parent. When that parent tells you, I appreciate you, my daughter or my son, it is very sweet. And that's what I was looking for. I didn't know I was looking for, but I knew there was something I'm looking for. Yes. And our children are actually looking for that a lot. Luckily in my generation, we were not so exposed like today. So I didn't have that exposure to go look for that, what I lacked out there. Because even when I was teen, I would not even go out there. I would not be allowed to go out there. So I was lucky for that matter. But today our children are very much exposed. Out there, we are not there most of the time. So they might, what they are lacking, what they feel they are empty, they might go looking out there. And that is what's happening. If they feel they are not given attention, which we feel we give, because you bring what is required to the child, so we give the attention. But the attention we are talking about is having quality time with that child, because that's what the child interprets. That is now love to the child.
And actually, most parents, more than even their young ones,
yes,
feel more frustrated precisely because of that. Because they wonder, you listen to most quarrels and most complaints from parents and guardians, and what they say is, what haven't I given
you?
I have educated you.
I have seen that a lot. You talk to a parent, And the parents tells you, but what have I tied done to that child, for that child?
And sincerely, parents are working hard
Exactly.
because they want to provide.
Exactly.
And yet that's what is turning around against.
Because there's one pillar that is lacking.
That is lacking.
There's something
Yeah.
that is lacking.
Yeah.
And that's what I lacked at my time.
Uh-huh.
As I'm saying, I was lucky that our times there was not that much television. There was no okay. Actually, when we came to see televisions, it was black and white. Then one channel. It was not that we were not that exposed. There was no internet. There was no those smartphones, so we were not so much exposed. And that's why we escaped from those vices.
And maybe even the social, the social
Our time,
fiber,
yes, was a bit different.
was okay.
Yes, at that
You
time.
still had relations.
True.
Neighbors took care of you.
Yes.
I mean, they were concerned a bit.
Yes.
Even though you were dying alone inside.
Inside.
At least there was some covering. There was some.
The environment was not as it is today.
You were
as harsh
fenced, yeah.
as it is today.
Yeah.
Now that child, if that child goes through that emotional deprivation, and they will quickly go out there to look for fixes. And because now they're exposed, they don't have to go out there. They just need to go to the internet,
Yes,
inside
their
wherever
phone.
they are.
Yeah.
Into their phones.
Yeah, so they can get lost in their phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really
With
happening
technology.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's happening quite
Yeah.
a lot. You fed your children, you're bigger, teenagers are engrossed in their, in their gadgets. They don't have much time with the surrounding, with the people who are there. Yes? Because they're trying to look for something to fill that emptiness that they feel.
And
inside.
this is the people who matter. Real people, real person, real parent. Not a gadget, not a PlayStation.
No. And actually, that's why we say when you don't bring out that love or that time, because the child, as I've told you earlier, interprets love as the time you give them. Yes, that time that you give them is how they interpret love.
Love is not the amount of pocket money.
No.
Okay.
No, not even those
It's not about-
coins.
It's not about us going to
Actually,
Dubai
I had an
for
experience
holiday.
one time. I was talking to some parents. We are going on a long holiday, and I was talking to some parents. Go and engage your children, and give them time. I was like, my child, I buy for them a PlayStation. They seem not interested. Even I take them to a sports, center somewhere, maybe for some activities. They are withdrawn, And I noticed there's something happening here. Where that parent was talking like that, that child actually is not missing those material things, those PlayStations, those sports areas where they can go and play sports and all that. They are missing some emotional. So what actually is lacking? Some emotional activities where you can do together. If then you have to bring those PlayStation, let's sit there, you play together. That child will be very interested. When you go to those sports places, go together with that child. Look for time to go together with that child.
Don't send them out with the house help.
Yes. Go yourself, and you will realize how
need to.
excited that child will be. And especially between 0 to 13 years. 0 to 13 years, that child by nature or by creation, and actually that's where a period of the time that I left my parents. So that period is when you need to be with your parents as much as possible. And actually, if you have noticed, a child between 0 to 13, they would want to be with their parents all the time. Actually, when you are going out, they want to follow you and go with you where you are going. When you come home, they want to jump over you. They want to sit where you are seated. They want to sit on your lap. They want, that age, they really want to be with the child, with you, parent. Yeah, imagine that child, by nature of creation, they want to be with you and you are far away. You are not there. So what happens?
You can imagine getting so busy because it's happening, so busy that some people even send their children as early as out to boarding school as early as when they are in almost kindergarten.
And it is very devastating. Let me tell you,
class
even if I was not in a boarding school, I was almost similar into a boarding school because I was not with my parents. And the time should come and go. It's like my heart has slipped. It has come out of the way it is normally. And going down, you feel like it has gone down to the stomach. There's some feeling that you feel because your parent has, by creation, has something. There's a bond, that only God can.
That is God given.
That's God given, exactly.
Yes.
And so that parent, when you take your child out there into a boarding school at a very tender age, especially below 13, you're actually doing injustice, if I may say so, to that child, because that moment that child wants to be with you. And for one reason or the other, if you still have to take the child to a boarding school, then make sure when the child's come back,
you maximize.
Yes.
On
every take a leave. If you're working on something, take time and try to fill that void, so that there will be no void in the future. Because a void is created. When the child comes out and goes away from you, a void is created. So when the child comes back, make sure that even if you have to get a leave or whatever, you can create a lot of time, so that you try to fill that void.
Some makeup time.
Makeup time, you try to true. So that there is not that void, because that void will really disturb that child later in life.
Wow, it's good to learn these things, madam, and because they're coming from your experience, your expertise, and all this, and it's really helpful. I believe our viewer out there is getting encouraged, because now they know perhaps where the problem could be, and there's a chance to make it better. There is always a chance. Madam, in your book you talked about buried treasures. What do you mean?
Let me tell you. When I talked to quite a number of adults, those not really our ages, mid 20s, late 20s, and that there, they actually, reveals that they were not loved as children. But then you wonder, you're not loved as a child, and you have a good education, you're well taken care of. What do you mean you're not loved? Then I realized nobody do not want to love their children. All of us want to love our children. And unfortunately, that love is with us. We have a lot of love for our children. But when you don't have time to actually express that love to our children through time, because the child, as I've said, interprets love as time. If you are not able, it remains a buried treasure. You have it. You love your child, and that's why you're looking for that for economic fulfillment, for the child to be well kept and have a good education. But if you don't give time to that child, because that's how the child expresses love, the child does not express love as the material things you give them. Remember, those material things will expire, they will depreciate, but that love, that feeling, as I wished for, to feel, that period of time my mom will come for just a weekend, was so exciting, and that feeling, I want it to continue forever as much as it can. That feeling is very important to the child, and that's what the child interprets as love, especially between 0 to 13, but even further. But this time is the time you are building the character of the child. That's the formation. And the emotional. Actually, when the child is born, is dry. But now that you feel that inner part, you feel that inner part. By the much time you give the child and the attention you give the child, that one-on-one with the child.
Now, madam, you're beginning to answer what has been a big question. Because in our generation, actually it is the millennials who are now bringing up children. The earlier generations don't seem to have a problem. Your generation doesn't seem to have a very, very big you're able to turn around very, very fast. But now the millennials who are now the present day parents, and with that age gap, that age of children in primary school and in high school, that's where the problems seem to be. And I think you begin to answer by saying that these millennials, this generation, is expressing actually their void at their time. So they don't know how to express, because perhaps it wasn't expressed to them. Because I think that time when, because my generation is the one in between, the bridge. My generation is the bridge. Just there, the gap at the millennials, and I don't belong to very much on the older one. And this is a generation where parents, maybe because of the changing nature of things, in the context. People started working.
Yes.
Parents started, maybe living away from each other, and all these things, the economic changes
Yes.
of the time. Perhaps that's what affected that. And so what we need to think is, how do we turn around and understand where we are coming from as a generation,
Yes.
so that we can quickly catch up and help this other generation that we are salvaging. I think you're answering a very important question.
True.
Yeah.
Now, this buried treasure
that
we have just talked about, it is actually that love which you have. We have a lot of love for our children, but then when you do not give that time and express it, it will always remain as buried treasure. Your child will suffer out there, yet the treasure is here buried. The child will be tossed up and down by the world. Yet the treasure is with you and it is buried. Yes. And that brings the second issue of now, what can we do? What has been destabilized? What is not so strong? What is wrong? More or less, And actually, in this book, we realize I've come up with some pillars. I call them 4 pillars.
4 pillars. Yeah, because we want solutions.
Yes.
We've been singing about problems, and we all acknowledge.
True.
We're in a mess.
There is something.
We are.
There's an issue somewhere.
There's an issue.
True. These 4 pillars. Let me tell you now my life. I had that. The 4 pillars, actually divided them into economic pillar. There is one that I call economic pillar. The other one I call intellectual pillar and spiritual pillar. And then the 4th one is emotional pillar. And actually the 3, most of us have done very well, most of us parents. And we are doing very well in those 3. And I had these 3 myself.
And the 3 are, again?
The economic pillar. That's the one I'm talking about. And I had it very well.
Yeah.
The intellectual pillar, which I did.
Going to school.
Yes.
Everything provided.
And I go to school.
Yeah.
And then we had and that pillar is spiritual. I grew up in church. My relatives went to church. And I went through all the things need to be done for me to conform to that faith. I did all that. But there was something. There was now the 4th pillar that now created that gap that kept on haunting me all the time. I move and then find myself moving backward. I move forward. I am moving backward, and I'm like, what is happening with me? And then I would find another person, maybe they're not even as educated as me, but they're just going, they're just going, they're not going backward.
But you seem to be going round.
Yes, I'm going round and round in circles. What's wrong with me? But this child has some inner strength. And doesn't have those self-limiting beliefs that I talked. And so the child is able to pursue any difficulty they're able to go through. Because maybe the child was brought up in an with all those issues, with all that 4th pillar lacking. Maybe it was very much present. And that's why this child is able to maneuver in life.
Yes.
And me, I'm wondering, I'm actually ahead in education, I'm ahead of this child. Maybe I was doing better, but I'm not able to pursue like this child. This child is doing well. This person is doing very well compared to myself. And that's when I realized, when I sat down and started thinking, and actually also talking to many other children that I came along, I realized that there was one thing that I missed. I had all those 3 pillars. They were very strong in my life. But there was one pillar that was weak. And that destabilized almost everything. As I was saying, luckily, we were not so exposed. But the child today who will have that instability, that emotional pillar, and then they're so exposed, then they'll find themselves in very long places. So, I remember, if you remember in the Bible, there was this man called Samson, who at a time, when his eyes was removed, then he was to be brought somewhere in a very big hall, a temple hall, with very strong pillars. Yes. Actually, that's the center pillars, and when for them to actually to make fun of him, and so when he was brought there, he told the young man, just make me hold the pillars, because he knew when he shake those pillars, the whole building will come down. They were actually the central pillars, and when he shake those strong central pillar, Despite how massive the building is, he didn't have to go breaking the walls and all that. He just needed to hold those pillars. And when he pushed them hard enough, he prayed to God, and he was given back his strength. And he pushed them, and the whole building collapsed and killing everyone else there. So these pillars are very important when they are strong, all of them. And they should be done, all of them. They should be implemented, all of them.
Wow, I like that, madam. And because I don't want to, to stop you midway. I want us to take a break.
Okay.
So that when we come back, we hear about these pillars, because I like the symbolism about Samson holding the pillar.
Yes.
And that involved also inner strength.
Yes.
Our viewer, I believe you are getting educated, and I believe you're feeling like I'm feeling, that we need to do something, and that all is not lost, because information is power, knowledge is power, and that's what we are getting here. And we're going to salvage the future of our children. So we'll be coming back to you. Let's take a short break.
Great people on earth today are the people who pray. Not those who talk about prayer or those who explain about prayer, but those who take time and pray.
God answers prayers. Why? Because He hears. His ear is not deaf, so He hears our prayers.
Men and women who go before God, we should be men and women of godly standards.
Sure.
So we abide. So that we keep tapping from the source.
But as we pray, it is important to tell God that your will be done in this prayer that I'm praying, or about this prayer item that I'm praying about. Not as I will, yes, this is my will, but let your will be done.
In these changing times and seasons of uncertainty, who do you look up to?
God keeps His part. Calm rain, calm sunshine. God is still committed.
From one generation to another, and it's not like shifting shadows that He will change. But
join Reverend Elizabeth Kimani and Henry Kyra every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. live on CAC TV for Call Unto Me.
2021, He's still the same God, and He has not changed.
Inasemekana mtafutaji hachoki.
Hakuna kazi rahisi, kazi zote ni ngumu.
Hakuna kitu mwanamume anafanya hapa sisi tunashindwa kufanya. Hakuna.
Akichoka kesha pata.
We only get limited in the mind. Exactly. Mimi nasema my space, my creation, I become.
Ungana nasi kwenye kipindi cha Kazi na Mali, ambapo tunakuhimiza
Bado safari iko. Tunang'ang'ana.
Kukuhamasisha.
Jua kali tunatengeneza vitu ambazo zinapatikana katika kila nyumba. Hata nyumba kuu ya Kenya State House utapata mali ya jua kali ziko huko.
Na kukuelimisha kuhusu sekta mbalimbali zinazounda nguzo kuu za uchumi wa nchi kwa jumla.
Kama association tunawahimiza kabisa kila mtu awe na ile card ya insurance ambayo ni ya serikali.
Usikose Kazi na Mali kila siku ya Jumanne saa 1:30 jioni hapa CAC TV.
Welcome back. This is the Rays of Hope, and today we continue with our topic, salvaging the future of our children. And in part 1, we learned about the hidden treasures, the buried treasures. And we said that love can be a buried treasure if you're not expressing it, if you're not giving it. And that's what your children need. That's what the young people need. Then it remains a buried treasure. And that affects the pillars of life. That affects their lives in many ways. And then we went on to start talking about the pillars that are important for life. And one pillar that Madam Reddy pulled out of the rest is the emotional pillar, which she says is the foundation for all the others. And I like what Madam you said about Samson before we went for break. And he said that all that Samson, after being cheated by Delilah and all that, we know the story. All he needed to do was to hold the pillar. With the little strength that he had, the hair was starting to grow. But with this inner strength, he just needed to hold a pillar and the whole building. Please tell us more about that. I found that to be
came tumbling down.
Yes.
And because those pillars are very strong. Yeah? They're the ones that holds the building.
Hold the building.
Actually, Chinua Achebe said, I hope I pronounce it right, that when the center can no longer hold, things fall apart. And so when that center does not hold,
everything else will fall apart.
It will fall apart. So when we bring up children and give them all the education, give them the intellectual and spiritual and also economic pillars properly, but we deprive them from the emotional pillar. And I've said we don't do that willingly, because emotional, when we provide, we feel we give, it's love. Because actually, why are you providing? You're providing because you love your children and you want them to have a good life. But when you're not, you don't give much of your time to the child to strengthen the emotional pillar, then you're weakening. And when you weaken that emotional pillar, it might bring the rest down, the other pillars down. We have seen so many celebrities, by the way. We have seen so many celebrities, they have a lot of money. But we've seen them dying of drugs. Others just commit suicide. Then you're left wondering, I thought that they had it all. I thought that they have a very good life. Why? Why would they kill themselves? Why would they want to just die of drug overdose if they have all the money?
They have millions of followers.
They have professors. They have all the intelligence. But what is happening? Why are they some committing suicide? Or they live depressed? Then there is a pillar that is not strong within them. And that pillar is the one I was talking about, and we call it emotion. And actually, we say that emotional beats logic 10-0.
I like that statement in your
book.
You wonder, yes, you can say that again.
Emotions beats logic 10-0. Because what would you explain? Why would such a person with all the education needed commit suicide? Why would those celebrities with all the money? In fact, you read and see they have, if I told you it's in music, they sold records of all times, it was nobody else had done that. Yet some died of drug overdose. Yes, they seem like they died empty. Something was empty inside them. They're actually walking around with a naked heart. Because when you deprive the emotion of a person, despite these others looking very good, that child is walking around with a naked heart. Yes, and that naked heart can actually, pull the child very quickly down, because all the time the child will be trying to cover that nakedness. But unfortunately, what is out there are vices. They're not things that can really help the child. So what they're exposed to will just bring them down.
And hold on there, Madam, because what you're saying actually rings a bell, because what we see around, we haven't seen physical nakedness or nudity along with it, which actually shows something of some nakedness.
What is in the inside?
Secondly, can also see our young people, and especially now when they're on holiday, and they start this from very, very early ages. You find people going out, I don't know, to take what kind of photos. There's some craze about photography that is promoting nudity also and all this. And why are they doing that? Because they want to appear, you know, like they're celebs. They want to post photos on Instagram.
They're looking for attention.
They're looking for attention.
Yes.
And that takes us back to the pillar that you're talking about. They're trying to look for it.
They're trying to out there.
Yeah, out there.
But if they got it fully at home, then when they go out there, they'll be more wiser. Actually, they'll not be hungry. You know, they come out now hungry.
Hungry for
and
something.
you can imagine a hungry person.
Yeah.
Yes. You are looking for something to fill your
and the world is ready to.
There was a young man called Esau, who actually gave out his birthright because he was hungry in his stomach.
Yeah.
He was saying, no, that time he didn't see the use of that, you know, of him being the first born. Take, you want, take, give me food. So emptiness is very, it can make you do things, actually, that will be, have consequences.
We can exchange our birthrights, our future.
Yes.
Our destiny.
Yes. Trying to feel that
because of
void.
that lack.
Yeah, because of that lack.
Yeah.
But then what do we do now? What do we do? It is not all lost.
What do we do? That's where the rays of hope come.
True.
Yeah, sure.
That emotional pillar we need to strengthen. And how do we strengthen? The bottom line, the whole circle comes back to the time you give to your child. And that child interprets time as the love you give them. What is love? How do they interpret? I can read a little bit here from a book. I think that love, if you may put love now and try to explain what does L mean,
like a O mean,
they actually mean lend me your time, lend me that opportunity, the O.
Or for letter L.
Yes, the L is lend me.
Lend
give
me.
Nipe your time as a child. Give me your time. Okay? So lend me that time. One day it will come back to you. So just lend your child. One time, it is like you're lending or you're loaning, but one time it will come back to you. When you watch your child doing very well in the society, when you see your child is a strong leader, without those self-limiting beliefs, so it will come back to you.
Well, that's why it's lending.
True.
Wow.
And you die happily.
I like that.
Yeah. So so lend that opportunity. Yeah. The O is the opportunity. Lend that opportunity so that child can vent, the V, vent anything they want, they feel is putting them back. Any frustration that they feel, give that shoulder. And of course, you cannot give that shoulder if you don't give time. You have to be
available.
You have to be available.
Give the opportunity.
Give the opportunity so that the child can vent. And when the child is vent, actually now what you're giving is an attention. You're giving attention to that child so the child can vent their frustration. They were bullied out there. The child can vent that frustration. Maybe there was just excitement of something that happened out there. You want to share. All of us, even as when as grown up as we are, when we're excited of something, you don't want to share with us.
Somebody to tell.
Yes. So this child really wants somebody to tell what happened. And that they want for them to vent it out, to go out there. And actually, when something you vent it out, it is no longer disturbing. It's no longer a problem to you now when you vent it out. So they are looking for that to vent out. Those emotions, the E, the emotions. So they are looking.
The emotions.
They want you to lend them your time. That opportunity for them to vent out, those emotions that are boiling inside them, and that's what they will interpret as love. When you give them that time, try one time, parent as well, try and see and try and give time. Actually, take off a very important thing that you normally do or activity that you normally do that is very dear to you. Take off. Actually, let the child know that that's something very dear to you, and you give your child time. You say, today, I'm not doing this and that, which is very important to me, but I'm not doing
like even postpone.
You are more important to me than even that. Yes, I want to be with you, my daughter, my son. I want to be with you. Yes, let that buried treasure now come out. I really looked for that. Let me tell you. So that I can have that time to vent. Yes? No, I am a girl, growing to be a girl. I don't have that mother to vent.
But my body is changing. Things are happening.
So you just want to hide in a corner. And you know that one now goes on hiding in a corner until now you're a big person. You have degrees. People want to go out there and become a leader, but you're still hiding in a corner.
Still hiding.
Yes, because now you have developed those self-limiting beliefs, as we said. So
I like that acronym. LOVE.
True.
You learned
that time. Learned that opportunity for that child
to vent their emotions.
Or the emotions.
Wow.
And what you do, you are going to cover that heart. It will not remain naked anymore. One time I watched a burial of a child from a very rich family. And that child actually had died mysteriously. And he actually in the company of a very old boyfriend. And I was there wondering, that child is from a very rich family. He had he had very good life. Is a girl. She had very good life. Yeah? So why would she be one with a very old person? And why would they be, taking drugs and alcohol? What is lacking? Then that child was naked inside.
That's a story that keeps repeating itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a story.
That child she was very educated. She had a very good job. Her parents were very rich. So very good entrepreneurs. Yes.
It's a void.
But the child died.
Yeah.
And, after attending some wild parties with an old boyfriend, and then you wonder, what? Then something is empty, despite the child looking very well taken care of outside. And for a long time, I used to think that happens to children, that emotional deprivation or that nakedness happened to children that have really gone through trauma. But I realized even a child that looks so well kept up, that child who looks well taken care of in good schools and all that, can develop that nakedness because that attention they are not getting, that time they are not getting, and that's what they are looking for. So what do you do?
Wow. And madam, because I want to take you back, because we are addressing not just the parents and guardians, but we're also addressing the children who themselves are in this quagmire.
Yeah.
And they're wondering, okay, madam, what can I do? Me now. You're talking about my parents. What can I do? Because I think earlier on you had talked about inner strength.
Yes.
And attitude, and all that. I want to take you back because off camera you had shared with me about the turnaround.
Yes.
That happened to you.
Yes.
And you started excelling because even though you were in a good school provided and everything, your grades had started going down. Please tell us about that. Because maybe that's what is happening.
Really down.
Yeah.
Because for one, I did not believe in myself. I knew I was not born an A student and I can never be an A student. And so why bother? I'm not an A. And so it was that self-limiting belief. I was in a very good school, but I kept on feeling invisible in the school. And so I developed that self-limiting belief and believed I cannot be like those children. They're from well up, they are from, they live with their parents, they have good life. And, so I'm not among that category. But I realized later that that's not the case. Why? Actually, when I was in school, my grades were really doing well. I was doing very poor. I was good at. I was actually fast below, not on top. When it's come to grades,
leading from the other side.
Yes, and I was okay with that. Actually, I had no problem. I had no issue. I was okay.
That was in high school.
That was in high school. And actually, even not primary. For me to go to that high school, I had actually failed as well. I had failed. Then I went to a high school. Up, down there, because I didn't have good grades to take me to a good high school. But later now,
so you kept sinking because now even your fate has been decided.
Yes,
you belong to the.
Yet I was in a very good school, but because I didn't believe in myself, so I did not get good grades to take me to a good high school. So I had to go where those grades would take me. And when I was there, that's when I changed. That's when I changed my attitude. It was actually change of attitude. Nothing else had changed in me. Just what I realized later. I had a good brother of mine, and he was going somewhere abroad. And actually, by that time, he came to ask for permission.
He was older than you.
Yeah, he was older than me, and he came to ask for permission in school, and for me to come and escort him to go abroad and study.
Well, so you were going to the airport?
Yes. And when he came, he went and checked my grades, as he was waiting for me to be called because it was a weekend, and he found me. I'm just bottom down here. Yes, and then he asked me, "Emma, what are you doing in school? Is this what you are going to be getting this grade?" He was an achiever. He was a good performer. What are you doing in school? Just getting these very poor grades, And that one, I felt at that time first. I felt because you are going abroad, you are feeling like. But it was a wake-up call actually. So when he said that, but later then we came.
Like, what are you doing in school?
Yeah. So in the truko, ukaolewe hata. So I later, nobody came and escorted him. And I remember that feeling of people, you know, those years. Kai had come from Ushags, from the rural areas. Yeah, so many of them, women, you know, to bring them out.
Those were days when you were brought by the whole village to the airport.
It was something.
And with the green twigs and all that.
True. So
in buses maybe.
Yes.
Escorting.
And we went to escort him.
Wow.
And that feeling really ate me. It ate me and said, oh my.
Like Kiwaru kind of.
Yeah, Kiwaru. And I was like, Kai, I feel invisible, but can I ever be visible? Can I come out and become visible as my brother? Now we say him is going abroad.
He's going abroad because he has performed well.
He has performed well.
And he's the pride of the whole village.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the family.
And his family as well.
Yeah, me, I'm just here invisible. Nobody's seeing me anyway. Because that failure, who just went there and
Yes.
But that entered into me.
That was a wake-up call for you. It was the turning around.
And I felt, and I talked to God, and I said, I would want one day even me to be escorted abroad. And that time I used to get very poor grades. Very poor. Actually, I used to be number 5 below. Out of 3 stream. Out of 3 105 students. Yeah, around there about number 100 out of 105 students. But when that whole thing happened and he left and went to the waving bay, that time he used to be a waving bay, and we saw him take off, something entered into me. And I felt, can I change that situation? Fine. I did not grow up with my mom, so then I can still change because it is not all grey. There's a silver lining.
There is hope.
Yes, there's hope.
Yes.
And I decided to change my life. It's not that I went to stay with my mom, no. Now I have to change this situation now. Help me to
the positivity that you talked about.
Yes.
And a positive attitude that attracts some goodness.
True.
Like,
actually, let me tell you, it's normally like a veil.
You see, I'm a good student. I'm learning from you.
It is like a veil. It's something that you put when you go through those situations. It is something that it develops a veil here.
Yeah. So
but you can remove it.
You can remove it.
Yes. And that's what happened to me. That day when I decided with my heart that I'm going.
When you saw your brother going and all the pride.
I went one day to come and be told like so. Bye.
You removed the veil.
The veil fell. And I was in Form 3. Maki. That time actually, I think he went around August even or July around that time. So it was I was almost late, but I was not. But when I decided to change, the whole
so Form 3
changed.
Please tell us about this change because we are encouraging someone out there, and we're in the season of people making choices, you know, resorts and all those things.
Yeah, true.
Please tell us that bit. It's very important.
You can succeed at whatever level. Let me tell you, at whatever level you are, you can still attain your dreams. Yeah? So what happened when I went back to school now after escorting him? So now I went back to
charged.
Hey, I was feeling something. No, I have to change. I have to study. Okay, I was like, even I don't pass because I thought that I can't pass.
Yeah.
I was born not to pass. But then I put all my effort. Then I will not bring myself.
And also to prove your brother wrong.
Yes. And I will not bring myself that I didn't work hard. Didn't work hard. So I went back there in Form 3 and I didn't even have notes because I never used to write. I borrowed people notes back in school. And I started reading all the time when there's an opportunity. People are basking out there. I dash back because I need to borrow people's books.
You had to make up.
Yes, I had to make up
the lost time.
And mathematics, I used to be very poor in mathematics. Actually, I used to get 0.9% and I was okay with that. But now, because my brother went to do economics, I wanted to do economics. But I was told you can never do economics if you don't pass in mathematics. And I used to get 0.9 that time, going to that time in Form 3. But I decided at Akama, I still have to pass in that mathematics because I still have to go and do something related to what he went to do. And so I tried my level best and worked very hard. When I went back, I borrowed people books. And I remember the headmistress who was there then, we used to call them headmistress, the principal who was there then. She wondered, who is Virginia? Who is Moredi? She's always in my office for disciplinary issues because she was either caught reading a novel rather than listening to the maths teacher teaching, or she was doing something, or she was out there rather than being in class. And then she wondered, I don't see Virginia of late.
Where is she?
So she came to class and found me in a corner. It was during prep time. I was busy reading somebody's notes because I didn't have mine.
Yeah.
I was busy reading. And she said, wow, Murithi has decided.
Yeah.
She was a senior lady. So she talked slowly. Oh, Murithi has decided.
So fast forward.
Yes, now. I studied and studied as much as I could. And Form 4 came. And we did our final exam. And I passed. That time we used to call them first division. It's Kitambo. Yes, we call them first division. I got a first division of 23 points.
First division is like what now?
A minus. I believe so. Yeah, it is A minus.
Wow.
So I got an A minus.
Wow.
I got a C in mathematics. Even I'm trying to grade it today.
Yes.
In mathematics. Yes. And I was able now to go and do economics in A levels, because now we're going to A levels our time.
Yes.
So I went and did economics. I did geography, literature, and economics in the A levels. And from there now things just went on. That time I was brought back to Nairobi now, in a very good school, because at least I'm sure that actually I can make it.
You can make it.
I'm not a lost
You
case.
believe in yourself again.
Yes, I'm not a lost case. I believed in myself again, and I passed.
And tell us, you were escorted finally to go abroad.
Now I went I went briefly to KU. I did education, but then I changed. I went to USIU and finished now my bachelor's degree in business administration, which economics was allowed there. And then I wanted to do masters. So I applied at a university in the UK, Leicester University, University of Leicester, to put it right away. And my time came.
To go to the airport.
Now he had come back already. Now he was here, so he also escorted me.
Wow,
yes.
I like that.
And I was there now. Now I was going to do my masters. I've already done bachelor's here, so I was going to do my masters. And I was there, escorted. Yes, just like him. And I felt, wow, thanks be to God that what I wished for it to happen, despite all what I went through, the emotional pillar that was not strong in me, I became an eagle. As I've written in my book, I could be able to fly now. Fly to other countries. Because I changed my attitude. It gave me 100%. When I changed that attitude, I passed. But if I had remained with that negative attitude, believe me, I could have just failed.
And here you are, pursuing your PhD.
Yes.
That very girl, that Form 3 girl who had given up in life, and all that because of all the experiences, she was able to pick up her pieces. She was able to salvage the remaining opportunities and become what you've become now. I mean, that's very, very encouraging. So I want you to give us a recap of 1 minute. What have we said? What have we said so that the parent, the guardian, the child out there, this young person can hear? What have we said, madam?
To parent, what we are saying is give time to your child. They don't have to go struggles that we struggled, trying to find ourselves, trying to know what is happening. That one can be avoided. So give them time, and they interpret time as they interpret love as the time you give them. Yes, and when you're in time, actually time also, it is the taught instructions. T is the taught instructions. So when you're giving them time, you're teaching them what is happening out there. You are coaching them what is happening out there. Those instructions or those guidelines that will help them in life. Yes, that moment that you're with that child, they treasure it. And that moment, let it be an exciting, the E. The M is moment, the E is exciting. Yet that moment that you're with them, they are very excited to be with you. They're very happy. Try also to do what they are doing. If they love doing this, do it together. And as you're doing together, then explain to them, teach them those instructions as you're doing them together. Coach them about the life. Yes. Have one-on-one with them. And they're going actually to be those lions. Because that's what lacked in me. I think I was not... I was a lion on the outside with a lot with the good education, looking very good and tall and big, well fed. But I was a cat in the inside. Wow! And you can imagine how difficult a cat trying to manage the lion. Yes, trying to deal with the lion. It is very frustrating.
And madam, all that you're saying, because there's so much and we want to hear. It's all included in this book.
It's all here.
Like that bit of lion.
That's
lion outside and deep inside you.
And that's what we are doing a lot to our children. We are giving them that very good education. education, giving them, making them lions on the outside,
but cats on the inside.
Yeah.
So the emotional pillar, we need to take care of it.
Yes.
Just as much as we give attention to the spiritual pillar, we must take care of the spiritual pillar. We must take care of the intellectual pillar.
Yes.
As well as the economic pillar.
But let us not ignore, which is normally ignored now.
Wonderful. This has been very, very exciting, and I'm sure you're saying, can we have Madam back? We will look into that, and thank you very much, Madam, for giving us your time, your heart, actually, because you're sharing from your life, and so that we can learn and be better and be able to salvage the future of our children. And so, viewers, that brings us to the end of our episode today. Thank you very much for joining us again. As I said, we would like to hear your comments, to hear your feedback. We want you to comment on our social media and all that. We want to interact with you and know what you think, and even questions. And also, please know that also we can connect you with Madam. She does counseling and all that. She's an author. If you would like to have this book, we can connect you. CAC TV can do that for you. I can do that for you. So if you want copies, you can get them. Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you, our viewers. Take care. Please know that all is not lost. There is hope in Jesus Christ.
Amen.
All is not lost. True. So take care. Keep hope alive. Have a positive attitude.
Yes.
We can make it to Nawesmek. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.